All right, so welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to swing for the fences with a true baseball legend, Bob Uecker.
A name pretty much everyone knows,
Mm.
especially if you're a Milwaukee Brewers fan.
And yeah, you probably know him as the voice of the Brewers for, forever.
And it's a baseball, right?
Exactly. But we're going deeper than that today, way past the mic.
Behind the persona.
We're digging into excerpts from his Wikipedia page to get to know the man himself a little better.
See what we can uncover.
And get this. He actually had a pretty interesting playing career before all that.
It's easy to forget about that part.
With all the jokes he tells about himself.
Right. But think about it. The guy went from journeyman catcher with a .200 average
Not great.
to one of the most beloved figures in the whole sport.
How'd that happen?
It's a wild ride, that's for sure. But even with that low average, Uecker played for 6 seasons in the majors. Won a World Series even.
No way, really?
Seriously. So rewind with me for a sec. He signed with his hometown Milwaukee Braves way back in '56.
Hometown hero, right.
Oh, yeah. And talk about hometown pride.
Yeah.
The guy grew up watching the minor league Brewers at Borcher Field.
Right in his backyard.
And that local connection really made a difference later when he came back as a broadcaster.
Fans loved that.
Cemented his bond with Milwaukee, full circle kind of thing.
Poetic, almost.
But before making the majors, he spent a ton of time in the minors. You see his grit in those years.
Grinding it out.
Because climbing the ranks in baseball,
Mm.
it's not easy. Takes serious grit, lots of determination, and a whole lot of patience. Not everyone makes it.
Hold on, I gotta ask you this. It says here he hit homers off of how many Hall of Famers?
Oh, yeah, that's incredible.
3. Koufax, Jenkins, and D. Gaylord Perry. That's insane.
Tell me about it. Even if you're a power hitter, that's a dream come true.
Doesn't sound like the Uecker I thought I knew.
Shows you there's more to his game than those self-deprecating jokes let on.
Makes you wonder, was he downplaying his talent the whole time?
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
But hey, he knew how to find the humor in everything. Like that story about catching knuckleballs.
Oh, yeah. What was his advice?
Wait for it to stop rolling and then pick it up.
Classic Uecker.
It's true, though. Catching a knuckleball is basically impossible.
It's like it has a mind of its own.
Dances all over the place. No spin,
Mhm.
Even the best catchers look ridiculous trying to catch those things.
So, turning that struggle into a joke, that's genius.
Relatable, even to people who don't really follow baseball.
Yeah, true. Okay, so after he hung up his cleats, he went right into the broadcast booth.
Started in Atlanta, right?
Yep. But then he landed his spot with the Brewers in '71.
And the rest is history.
Talk about finding your home. The guy's been the voice of the Brewers for, 54 years now?
And still going. It's mind-boggling. One of the longest runs in MLB history. 5 decades with Brewers fans.
Gotta be more than just a job to him at this point.
Oh, way more. You can hear it in his voice. The passion he has for the game.
Hmm?
It's contagious.
Makes you want to be right there at the ballpark with him.
It's exact.
And he didn't just stick to the Brewers either. He commentated on League Championship Series and World Series games too.
Bringing that Uecker style to a national audience.
Huge pressure, national spotlight, all that.
He handled it all with grace.
And humor, of course.
Wow, gotta have the humor.
Can't forget his famous home run call either.
Oh, which one?
Get up, get out of here, gone.
A classic. Those signature calls become, part of the team's whole identity.
Creates a shared experience for everyone.
Even if you're not watching, you hear that call and you know exactly what happened. Instant celebration.
It's funny, right? Because he has that ability to laugh at himself, even during tough times. Uecker's actually faced some pretty tough personal challenges, but we'll get into those a little bit later.
Okay, sounds good.
For now, let's get off the field for a sec. Because Uecker's personality, that humor, it landed him gigs way outside the booth.
Like what?
TV shows, commercials. He even got involved in professional wrestling.
No way.
I'm serious.
That's amazing.
It just shows how he could appeal to all kinds of audiences.
Way beyond just baseball fans.
Okay, we have to talk about the Miller Lite commercials.
I was waiting for this.
He's basically the reason we say Uecker seats. Who knew you could turn sitting in the nosebleeds into comedy gold?
That's marketing genius right there.
And it's not just ads. There's that story about him redesigning the Milwaukee Admirals hockey uniforms.
Wait, what?
With a loud plaid pattern. Can you imagine?
No way.
That's so Uecker, though, right? Embracing the absurd, having fun, not taking anything too seriously.
Gotta love that.
Oh, and then there's pro wrestling. His appearances at WrestleMania the 3rd and 4th, especially the whole choking incident with Andre the Giant, are legendary.
Baseball announcer in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's wild.
It just proves he can connect with anyone, right? Doesn't matter if you're a baseball fan or a wrestling fan, the guy makes you laugh.
It's a gift.
His humor is like a superpower. You've seen some of those quotes on his Wikipedia page, right?
Pure gold.
He's so self-aware, finds humor in everyday stuff, and his timing is impeccable.
Not easy being that funny, especially when you're the one making fun of yourself.
But he pulls it off perfectly. And get this, he even hosted Saturday Night Live.
Wow. For real. That's huge.
Major cultural moment. I mean, how many sports figures get to do that?
Shows how recognized he was beyond just sports.
Oh, and did you know he wrote a couple of books, too?
Like full-on books.
Yeah,
That's got to be different than just talking on the radio.
definitely a whole other way of telling stories. Okay, let's move on to how much Ueker's work has been recognized over the years.
Well-deserved, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. The list of awards he's got is crazy impressive. 5-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year.
That's a lot of trophies.
He's also in the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. It's like the ultimate respect from your peers.
Shows his real impact on broadcasting.
And of course, there's the Ford C. Frick Award from the Baseball Hall of Fame. He got that back in 2003.
That's the pinnacle for any baseball broadcaster.
It's not just about talent. It's about how you contribute to the game itself. And I think his Milwaukee connection goes way deeper than just being a broadcaster.
What do you mean?
He embodies that city's spirit, you know? And the Brewers feel it too. They put his number 50 in their Ring of Honor.
Seriously. That's rare for a broadcaster, isn't it?
Super rare. Shows how much respect they have for him.
Absolutely.
But wait, there's more. They also added him to their Wall of Honor and put up a statue of him outside American Family Field.
Are you kidding? That's usually reserved for, like, legendary players.
I know. It's like saying, this guy is as important to us as anyone who's ever worn a Brewers uniform.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, the WWE inducted him into their Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you, the guy's a pop culture icon.
All right, we got to talk about his acting career, too. He had that recurring role on Mr. Belvedere, played George Owens, the father and sports writer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that show.
Pretty popular back in the 80s. It was your classic family sitcom, and Ueker brought that warmth and humor to it. He played the straight man to Christopher Hewitt's uptight British butler.
Great combo.
And their comedic chemistry, top-notch. Makes you wonder if that experience influenced his later work, especially in the Major League movies.
Speaking of which,
We can't wrap this up without talking about Harry Doyle.
the iconic play-by-play announcer for the Cleveland Indians.
It's become the role people associate with him.
I love those scenes in the broadcast booth, riffing on the players, downplaying those crazy plays with his dry wit, and let's be honest, that flask he always had.
Comedic gold. He captured how absurd baseball can be, but also celebrated it. And those one-liners, like juiced a bit outside, instant classics, part of baseball movie history forever.
Everyone knows those lines.
It's incredible how those Major League movies became such cultural phenomenons.
Ueker's performance is a huge part of why they're still so popular. He made Harry Doyle hilarious and lovable, someone everyone can relate to in some way.
It's funny, you know, the Wikipedia page says he got that Major League role not because of his broadcasting, but because of those Miller Lite commercials.
Talk about coming full circle.
I know, right? It just shows how good he was at connecting with people through comedy.
Those ads showed off his self-deprecating humor perfectly, made him the perfect fit for Harry Doyle.
Speaking of which, we have to revisit the Ueker seats.
Oh, please do.
It's amazing how he turns sitting in the worst seats into something everyone laughs about.
Marketing genius, plain and simple.
Yeah.
They knew exactly how to use his humor. He was so good at making fun of himself, and viewers loved it.
Now it's part of everyday language. Ueker seats can be anywhere, a concert, a movie theater, even a bad table at a restaurant. But, you know, as much fun as we're having, we gotta remember, Ueker's life wasn't all last.
Right, he's dealt with some tough stuff, too.
His first wife, Joyce, they had 4 kids together.
A big family.
But sadly, he lost his son, Steve, back in 2012 from complications with San Joaquin Valley fever. And just last year, in 2022, his daughter, Leanne, passed away from ALS.
Oh, wow. That's heartbreaking.
Losing a child is unimaginable. And then he went through a divorce from his second wife, Judy, back in 2001.